Hello, 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 guys, boys and girls. Thank you for tuning in tonight's episode where I'm going to be talking about manifestation. Can you actually manifest things into your life? And let me tell you something, this is like one of those woo-woo crazy topics that I don't usually talk about, not in public anyway. But I do certain practices, many of you know. I do yoga, I do breathing exercise, I do all these like cool and crazy stuff. To some of you, this will be crazy stuff. To some of you crazy people, this will be very normal stuff. And let me tell you something. In this session, what I'm going to share with you, I'm going to be sharing with you really cool strategies in terms of how to manifest. Okay, now this is bizarre, and how to actually think and grow rich. How do you actually manifest money into your life? A lot of people talk about it. A lot of people do vision boards. A lot of people do visualization processes. A lot of people do all of these practices. But my question for most people who are doing these things is, are you actually getting the results? Are you actually at your destination? The things that you actually want, are you actually attracting it? Whether it be $1 million, for example. A lot of people find it easy to attract other things. Like, let me give you a very simple example. One friend of mine went to an event, and then it's talking about manifesting money. And then what happens is she was learning about picking up pennies and saying thank you. And what happens is she said, Eric, this stuff really works. I said, oh wow, what works? She said, manifesting money really works. I said, oh wow, you've manifested a lot of money. She said, well, you know. I said, what does that mean? They said, oh well, you know, I keep picking up pennies from the floor. I'm thinking, okay, so you're manifesting pennies. Now, interesting. Why is it that most people actually believe in this stuff? Most people think that there is such thing as manifestation, visualization, positive thinking, law of attraction, but not many people actually attract the things they want. And maybe one of you guys who are listening in right now, what happens is this, right? I want to very simply break it down across 4 steps. These are the 4 steps I share in Superpower Live. It's part of the superpower cycle that I talk about. Today, in my world, in my life, what I do is I manifest things into my life. I really do. Now, a lot of you will be looking at me and thinking, this guy's just crazy. What is he talking about? But let me tell you something. What do? I think about something and the things happen. Right? I think about people I'm going to connect with and the things happen. I think about I'm going to be on TV, I'm going to be on Shark Tank, suddenly I'm on Shark Tank. These things happen. I think about all of the different successes in life. I think about going into fashion. I think about making different pots of money, and it all works. But how? How does manifestation work? And why is it that even the people who think they believe in it, why for most people does it not work? Because they don't understand the 4 fundamentals. These 4 things is what I came up with because I was actually lost for a while with this whole spiritual journey and the whole being and the whole doing. What am I doing? Am I supposed to be doing stuff, or am I supposed to be being? And I can't really kind of figure these 2 things out. But when you do, it's amazing. I'm going to share with you how this stuff works and how you can start implementing some of these things to start attracting the things you want to attract in life. Okay? First of all, let me give you the first problem to why this does not work to most of you. By the way, those of you who are enjoying this, or those of you who enjoy this topic, please feel free, comment below, let me know who's tuned in, and also hit the like button, hit the share button, share it out to your crowd, spread the message, spread the love, get this message out to most people so they're not just sitting there every single day going, Lamborghini, 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 and nothing's happening. Yes? So, anyway, how does manifestation work? Number 1, first of all, understand this. Our minds, okay, process 11 million pieces of information every second. Your mind processes 11 million pieces of information every second. Now think about that for a second. You, even now listening to me, you think that you are totally tuned in on my frequency, you're totally tuned into what I'm saying, you're totally present. When in actual fact, most of your mind on a subconscious level is processing all the other bits of information and not me. Right? Not what I'm saying, not the words that are coming from my mouth. And what we understand, what is conscious about the 11 million pieces of information every second is 40 pieces of information. right? So not much is happening consciously. So if we want to start manifesting stuff by speaking things out, by waking up in the morning, doing my incantation, saying, I'm going to make $1 million, I'm going to make $1 million, or saying that, you know, whatever those goals, whatever those dreams, whatever those aspirations are for you, is really unlikely that you're actually going to reach those goals, because I'm going to make $1 million, I'm going to make $1 million. Then what's happening at the same time as that's happening every second, there's 11 million pieces of information going through processing on a subconscious level too. Now think about that for a second. So if you are putting, let's say this, okay? Let's use the example of $1 million, okay? Let's say you want to make $1 million right now, okay? I want you to understand. I want you to understand. Oh, not $1. $1 wouldn't be too good. Okay, $1 million right now. Okay. Now, in amongst the $1 million, that incantation, that thought, okay, the think and grow rich strategy, right? By thinking that, by speaking it out loud, right? What's actually happening in amongst these three words, right? $1 million. What's happening is you have all of these pieces of information, okay? All of these pieces of information that's happening, 11 million pieces every single second. You think by just chanting, you think by just writing your goal down, you think by just saying it, by sharing it, is going to make that difference where that $1 million will become reality. Okay? Now, I'm not going to go too deep on this. Now, some of you will be thinking this is a little crazy already. I'm not going to go too crazy in it. We're not going to be talking about frequencies. We're not going to be talking about vibrations. We're not going to go too much into that tonight, okay? Maybe on another level. But understand this one thing. If you are sending out, say $1 million US, and you're trying to send it out to, you may call it the universe. You may call it God. You may call it, you know, whatever you want to call the higher power, that great thing that built me, you, and everything around us, right? So when you're trying to send this message out there with all of these pieces of information, and I'm going to go into it in a second, how you actually get rid of that. But with all these pieces of information that's going on, and you're trying to get rid, and you're trying to focus on that goal or that dream or that aspiration, you stand this much of a chance. Why? Because this much of your focus is actually on the goal. So how do you actually get rid of this? What I'm going to share with you in this very short session that I have with you today, again, this topic I usually share across one whole day at Superpower Live. So those of you who've been before, we would have gone through this before. But I'm going to break it up so it's clear, you understand what's actually going on. All of this noise going on. The number one key, first of all, I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you how to first calm all of this down. How to calm it down, calm it down, calm it down. Get rid of this noise. And so what happens at the end is this $1 million rises, and it's above all of the noise, above all of the rubbish that is going on in amongst that. Okay, so how do you do it? Okay, you manifest. And by the way, I put these 4 steps together. I put these 4 steps together based on my own experience of how this stuff is working, because I remember many years ago watching The Secret, and then watching The Secret, there's this dude who was like, kind of like, I want to make $1 million. Oh no, I want a Ferrari. I want a Ferrari. Suddenly a Ferrari ends up in his living room, right? And it's like, how did that happen? Well, I remember switching the movie up at that time, and I was like, I don't want to learn this stuff. This is crazy, right? But what happened was, because I'm a very logical mind, I came from an entrepreneurial background. Everything is logical. Now, starting to understand this, I was like, whoa, I was just, I don't even know how to explain it. Today, I think about things, I manifest it. Now, does that mean I don't work? No, it doesn't. You still need to work, okay? I'm going to explain to you how it works. It's based around this quadrant that I created, okay? Number 1, right? The first most important thing is understanding this. You have all of the noise going on. So what's the first step? The first step is calm. So what does that mean? It means you want to calm the noise, right? You want to calm the noise. Now, understand this for a second. If your brain is processing 11 million pieces of information every single second, how do you get rid of that information? Whether you like it or not, right now, while you're listening to my words, you think you are 100% present. But at this moment, you are thinking about something I said before. You're thinking about the flip chart, you're thinking about the lights, you're thinking about where I am, you're thinking about where my energy's from, you're thinking about what time is it, when is it time for bed. You're either in the past or you're in the future. Not often are we actually in this moment. The problem with that is that the only moment that matters is this moment. This moment, now. Opportunities happen now. The moment you're thinking about what happened before at home, or what's going to happen at work, what's going to happen with your emails, how you're going to get on with your tasks, when you're thinking about all this stuff, you are not in the moment. You're either in the future or in the past. Now, both of these areas are what holds stress, what holds noise, what holds problems, what holds hatred, what holds anger, what holds all of this stuff. What holds all of the anxiety, everything is held in the past or the future. So, what does that mean? It means if you want to calm that noise so your mind can be purely focused on your goal or your dream or your aspiration, think about that for a second. If you could get rid of all the noise and just be focused on that one thing, do you stand a much higher chance of achieving that goal or that dream? Give me a yes. Hit me with a yes if you agree. Yes, of course, right? So if you can focus purely on that one thing, obviously you will stand a much higher chance of achieving it. But the question is how? So the first thing is about calming that mind, meaning don't be in the past, don't be in the future, right? I always say in a relationship, you can never have problems if you're always in this moment. Right now, you looking at me looking at you, you're beautiful, I'm beautiful, everything's beautiful, the world is beautiful, and everyone's happy. There cannot be problems in this moment. Pure love, that's all, right? There cannot be problems in this moment. But the interesting thing is this moment is the only moment that matters. What does that mean? This moment is the only moment that matters. It means that this moment is the only crucial moment that creates your past and it creates your future. So if we know that this moment is beautiful, this moment holds no problems, then your past and your future can only be beautiful. Now, let me give you a very quick example. For example, me and Marta, we've never had an argument before. A lot of people think, no, that's not possible. Come on, you must have had an argument at one time. We've never had an argument before. You can't. If two people live in the moment, it gets rid of a lot of the noise, right? It gets rid of a lot of the stress. It gets rid of most of the 11 million pieces of information. And you are just present in that moment. Just you and the person in front of you, the job you are serving, the product you are serving, the solution you're finding for other people, whatever it is you're doing. How do we not have an argument? Very simple. When two people come together, where do arguments come from? Very simple. One person says, "What did you say?" The other person says, "Oh, no, I didn't say that. Why do you think I said that? I didn't mean that." And then the other person kind of fights back. And then it comes into this big argument and it becomes much bigger. When you focus on the problems, your problems will only get bigger. If you're taking notes, make sure to write that down. When you focus, what you focus on expands. When you focus on negativity, you get more of the negativity. So you don't focus on the negativity, you just be in the moment. For example, I could say to Marta, I say, what is it you just said? Then she would just say to me, "Hey dear, that was the past." And I'll look at her and think, "Oh, okay then." So it's the past, it's gone. In this moment, we're alive, we're breathing. How beautiful is that? This is the beauty of life, And if you can live every moment in the moment, everything becomes beautiful. But you have a problem in your mind right now. What you're thinking, "Eric, I can't just be in the moment all the time. I need to think about the emails I need to send. I need to think about the bills I need to pay. You don't understand half my stress and half my worries." Let me tell you something. I understand your stress. I understand your worries. Right? A lot of the things, whether it's from going into bad investments to different relationship problems, to all these different problems you think I haven't experienced before, right? We've all experienced it. But it's about how you have that, what your perception of it is and what your solution was to get out of it. Because now I don't get stuff like that anymore. It's impossible to make me unhappy, angry, or frustrated. Because let me tell you something, I'm going to explain to you how these things work. Number one, calming the mind. By calming the mind, how do you calm the mind? Do not try to control your mind. What does that mean? Don't try to think, don't think about this, don't think about that, stop thinking about this, stop thinking about that, stop thinking about the past. Don't think that way. Because the moment you say, don't think about that, what happens is you're focusing on that and it becomes bigger. So it creates more noise. So do not try to control the mind, right? One great master of mine, a master from Bali, what he taught me was this, and it's very, very powerful. This will change your game for you. And how it works is this. He talks about our mind being a little bit like a light bulb, right? And he says what happens within the light bulb is this. In a light bulb, you have a lot of electricity, right? This is like our mind and the noise that's going on. And what happens is a lot of people, they try to go in and control the mind. The moment you put your hand in, control the mind, what happens? You get a shock. And when you get that shock, what happens? Then you cannot, when you get that shock, you cannot control the mind. It becomes worse, right? Whatever, and I like you to write this down if you're taking notes, okay? What you suppress comes back. What you suppress comes back harder, right? So you build more stress, you build more noise, right? So what you're supposed to do here, instead of going to attack the mind, control the mind, what you want to do is this. You want to focus on what I call the core dimmer switches, okay? The core dimmer switches. When you understand what parts of your body creates that dimmer effect, like a dimmer switch on a light, right? What happens is you can access one, and then it calms the mind. You access the other, it calms the mind further. You access the other, it calms the mind. And that noise just slowly disappears, right? I'm not going to go too much into this, but I can cover it. Just give me a good comment inside the comments box. Give it a share. And what I'll do is I'll cover another, if you guys are interested in this type of topic, I'll cover in terms of how to calm the mind. Because calming the mind is a lot to do with breathing. Just write this down for now. We're just going to scratch the surface and then we can go into more detail the next time. I just need to get everybody on the same page first, right? So if you're interested in this stuff, hit the like button, give us some comments and give us a like, give us some love hearts. That's all cool. So give me that so I know that you guys like this stuff. So I'll be sharing with you how to do this stuff on the next episode. So calming the mind, the first thing is, write this down as well. Breathing is everything, right? Breathing is everything, meaning you, just by breathing alone, it changes everything. When you are angry, when you're frustrated, when you're in stress, thank you for all the love. When you're stressed out, when you're frustrated, when you're you feel anxiety, what happens is you breathe more heavily, right? So what happens is that you're not breathing properly, not getting enough oxygen into that body. And with the moment you breathe like that, think about this for a second. Next time you are impatient, for those of you who are impatient people, for those of you who are sometimes get stressed out, so sometimes you get unhappy about things, okay? What you need to do is this. If you feel the anger coming up, take a deep breath in and out. You will find it will be impossible to be equally as stressed out as before you took the breath. Now, if that doesn't get you to the state you need to be in, take another deep breath in and out. You'll find it calms the mind again. Breathing is everything. Right now, you may have an understanding of it. Let me tell you, every single one of you who are tuned in right now, you all have a different understanding of what I just said. Breathing is everything. But what happens is throughout this journey, the more you get into it, the more you start becoming more aware of this and the more powerful it becomes, okay? So the first thing, calm the mind. Breathing is everything. There's actually 5 things I usually share here, but it's going to take all day. So I'm not going to go into this. Like I said, give us some love hearts, give us some thumbs up, just give it a share, and I will share this on the next episode, okay? If I get enough interest, I will share it on the next one, okay? The second thing, so number 1 is calm the mind. Then once you've calmed the mind, what's the next thing? The next thing is set your intentions, right? Set your intentions. So now the mind is calm. So whatever that goal is, whatever that dream, whatever that written goal, whatever the visualization, whatever it is you want, okay? This is the best time to set that intention because right now your mind is calm. You haven't got so much noise going on, meaning that you are in tune. I'm gonna use some weird language here for some of you. Just bear with me, keep an open mind, okay? We're not going to go too much into this, but don't think it's too woo-woo because I'll explain to you how this works in a second, okay? But anyway, so we calm the mind. When we calm the mind, we feel at peace with and oneness with everything. We are all part of nature. We're all part of this whole thing, right? We're all one. You, me, everything is one, right? No, it's no coincidences. Now what happens is when you calm that mind, you vibrate. Now this sounds weird now, okay? Vibrate, not physically, not like this, yeah? But you vibrate at a certain frequency which is in tune and align with the rest of the universe and the people and everything around you. That is an amazing state to be in, by the way. And let me tell you something, the way to calm the mind is not to meditate, right? Meditation is a part of it. It's actually the fifth element here, okay? But it's not the first thing you do, right? Think about this for a second. Meditation is about nothingness. The problem that I see most people do is that most people, I'm really stressed out, let's meditate. They close their eyes. When meditation is about nothingness, the worst time to meditate is when you're stressed out, when you've got so much going on in your mind. What you need to do is you need to calm the mind, get yourself ready to be, to get yourself into meditation, right? Meditation is about nothingness. It's purely witnessing. Now that sounds really weird. I'm going to explain that in the next one. Like I said, if I get enough interest, I'll share it on the next one. Now the second thing is, okay, you calm the mind, you're vibrating at the right frequency, you're plugged into the source. Okay, that sounds really weird. Let's not go so deep today. But anyway, you're plugged in. What does that mean? Best time to set your intention. Now, let me just get rid of all of the language I just talked about a second, and let's just cover it this way. Okay, let's look at calming the mind equals less noise equals more of your mind focus onto one object, one dream, one goal, one aspiration. So therefore, you are more likely to achieve it because where focus goes, this is what Tony Robbins says, right? Where focus goes, energy flows and results show. So now it's more directed towards just one thing. All the energy, all the mind power is directed to one thing. That's why it's the best time to set intentions. Now, big problem for you is this. Most of you have dreams, you have goals, you have aspirations, you have things you want to achieve. But the problem is this. The problem is a lot of the things you think are your goals are actually not your goals. They're not your dreams. They're not things that you want. And you're really thinking, what does that mean? You know, how do I set goals? How do I set my vision? Right? Let me tell you this. Our goals, most people's goals, okay, are only set based on what they know. You can only want what you know. You don't know what you don't know. In Landmark, they share this really, really cool thing, this circle. Some of you may have seen it before, okay? And how it works is this. We have a circle. Beautiful circle, Eric. Nice. Okay, so, and this circle illustrates and talks about how this much is what you know. This much is what you know. It illustrates that this much is what you know that you don't know. So this is how much you know. This is what you know that you don't know. The things you know that you are certain that you don't know how to do brain surgery, for example, right? The things that you know that you don't know. What's interesting is the majority of it is you don't know what you don't know. Meaning it just does not exist at all in this world to you. You do not have any awareness whatsoever that this stuff is actually out there. It actually exists, right? For example, I'm not going to share it. It's going to sound too crazy right now, okay? But it just does not exist. So we don't know very much. The human consciousness, I believe, is on a huge shift right now. It's going through a huge shift. However, most people are still very unconscious, let's say, about what awareness. They're not aware of what's happening around us, okay? So with that in mind, think about this for a second. The dream you have, the goal you have, why is it there? It's only there because of your upbringing, because of society, because of what teachers, because of what everybody has taught you through your upbringing to be good, to be bad. What is right, what is wrong? What makes you money, what doesn't? What's a great option, what's not? These things, these ideas of the world, your model of the world is purely there. Your dreams, your goals is purely there because of what other people have told you. That's all. It can only be based around what you know. But the problem is, what we know is very, very little. And that's also why most people get to their goals. When they get to their goals, finally to realize that, oh, is this it? I've been working so hard and I'm not so sure. That's why a lot of people, they chase, they get to their goal just to realize that's not their goal. When they realize that's not their goal, what do? Set another goal. And then they chase, and then they keep thinking that I need to reach my goal before I can reach happiness. but then they keep pushing their goal back. It's what Sean Aker talks about when he talks about the happiness advantage. He said most people are here, they have their goal, and they have happiness here. And what happens is they hit their goal, they think, is this it? I don't know, I'm going to set another goal. They set another goal, they push the goal back, they keep pushing happiness back, and they live their whole lives. At the end of their life, they don't think, I wish I set another goal. But instead, what do they think? They think this. They think, I wish I just lived. I wish I just spent some time with my loved ones. I wish I just traveled. I wish I just explored. I wish I just educated myself more. I wish I took more action, took more opportunities. Because in actual fact, a lot of the goals you think is your goal is not actually your goal. It's only what the conditioning, social conditioning, upbringing has taught us to be right or wrong. And we've based our decision of our goal based on the surroundings. So how do you change it? How do you find your purpose? How do you find what's right for you? How do you actually make those decisions? How do you make those commitments towards, what is actually that meaningful thing? What are we all here for? What is the thing? Understand this, right? Oh, we're running out of paper. Looks like I'm going to have to stop. So it looks a bit like this, okay? Understand this. So I was at the top of a building one time with a friend of mine. We were on the 52nd floor, right? 52nd floor of this building. On the 52nd floor, we were having breakfast one morning. While having this breakfast, what actually happened was there was a river here, right? Along the river, there was some boats, right? And then by the river, what there was a highway. There was cars coming this way, there was cars going this way, okay? And over here, we had some trees. Right? Over here, we had some buildings, right? Some houses. Here, we had some more buildings. On the road, what we have a car, okay? We have a few cars coming this way and going the other way, right? There's cars going on. Now, what's interesting is this. Understand where most people are. Most people are here. Most people are in this car. They just came from home. They're going to work. Now, what choice does this person have? I'd like to ask you for a second, okay? This person who's here, right? Going from home to work. What are their choices right now? Because think about this for a second. You can only have goals based on your choices, right? You have your choices. But what do you have to choose from? You only can choose from your awareness. What is this person aware of right now? This person is aware of there's water here, there's by the road here, there's work here, there's home here. So what's consumed, what's in the mind right now is going on is, okay, what happened at home? What's going to happen at work? What emails do I need to reply? In fact, they can get from A to B without having any choices because they're only so focused on what they need to do, the task at hand right now, which is in the future or the thing that happened in the past. Now, so you don't really have many choices. You may think that, this is what I really want. I know what I really want. What I really want, exactly, Bernard, 2 choices, home and work, right? But in fact, you have other choices. The people with big goals, or they think they're big goals, what happens is they think, I'm working in this building right now. Wouldn't it be nice to be like this guy over here working in this big building? That's your choice you have right now. Because that's your awareness. That's all you can see. You can't see people out here. You can't see people down here. Now, think about this for a second. Take yourself out of the car. Get to the building. Get in the elevator. Up to the 52nd floor. Now, when you're up on the 52nd floor, my question to you is this. What do you see? What are your choices? How are you going to spend your day? Here, you were thinking, maybe I'll go to this cafe. Maybe I'll go to that cafe. Now you're up here. What do you see? Up here, now you suddenly see, whoa, I can go play in the park. Look at these guys. Wow. Hey, what are those bicycles going on? Oh, that looks really cool. Hey, let's go and feed the ducks, right? Hey, let's check out this building. This looks really awesome. Hey, what's going on down here? It looks like there's some festival or something. Then what happens at that point, up here, what do you have? You have choices. You have awareness. How? The question is how. Think about this for a second, right? What does awareness... A lot of people talk about awareness, but what is awareness? Most people are totally unaware of things around them. But what is awareness? Awareness is this example, exactly, this example that I've just given you here. Think about this for a second. Those of you who have ever been on a high skyrise building, or you've been on some like mountaintop, looking over the whole city, looking over everywhere. Think about what you actually think at those points when you see the whole city, when you see the whole place, right? How do you feel? A lot of the time we look at those views, and how many of you have ever done this before? You look at the view, you look at them, you're on the mountaintop, you think, wow, this is so beautiful. That is awareness. Think about that for a second. If you have really, really high awareness of the things around you, life is beautiful. Why? Because you have choices. You can see everything. Wayne Dyer wrote a book saying, now I see clearly. How does this work? So your question right now is, how? How do you take yourself out of the car? How do you get more choices? How do you raise your awareness? How do you become more aware? And how do you actually get into that place where, wow, life is beautiful. Life is beautiful. How do you get into that place? Very, very, very simple. Okay, there's a few strategies. Again, I'm not going to go into too much into detail. We're only on the second point. My battery's running out. Facebook Live always drains my battery. Again, if you like this stuff, make sure to comment below. Give us some questions. Hit me up with some likes and some thumbs up, some hearts and stuff like that, and I'll cover it in the next session. Okay, so how do you take yourself out of context? Very simple. Okay, you do this. You out of here. Okay, it's all about. Oh, no more paper left. I'm going to write it here. Okay, so one of it is about context. Okay, you take yourself out of context. The second thing is about comfort zone. So what you need to do is you need to get out of the ordinary. We're back on. Okay, so you need to get out of what you're doing right now. If you've been doing the same thing over and over again, you're stuck in the same environment with the same people around you, doing the same task, in the same job, in the same business, and you want to just, and you're thinking, I want something else, but you think you've got choices. You haven't, because you're stuck. You know, everybody has an amount of space, this amount of space. Imagine a circle, and it's full. Right now, full. It's consumed by your current situation, the current surroundings and people around you and the information around you. And you want something that's out here, something that's extraordinary, something that's amazing. But right now, this thing cannot enter into your life because your space is full, you know? One great monk once said, he said, when your cup is full, stop pouring. When your cup is full, stop pouring. And so, you know, when you start understanding this, you need to take yourself out of context, break the pattern, get yourself out of your job, quit your job. Now, your question to me is, Eric, but you don't understand, you know, I'm in my job because I need to pay my bills. How am I going to get out of my job? Let me tell you something. Stop. If you are not enjoying it, stop. You're thinking, how do I stop? Just stop. Quit. You're thinking, but I need to pay my bills. Quit. Let me tell you one thing, right? I had this a student of mine. His name is Jack. He's out in Vietnam. We were on Body, Mind, and Spirit, one of my 5-day retreats. And he said to me, he said, Eric, I'm in business right now, but I'm not really enjoying what I'm doing. And I said, stop. And he said, what? I said, stop. He said, yeah, but I need to like find another business. I said, just stop. If you're not enjoying it, stop. Let me tell you something. If you do not have the right to say that you are not enjoying life. You are breathing. You are alive. You know how many people want to be able to just even be in your situation? There's people so less fortunate, you know. And I know a lot of you are joining us out in Kenya in January. It's going to be absolutely amazing. But so many people out there who are so less fortunate than us. You have no right to be unhappy about your circumstances. In actual fact, how do you get away from that unhappiness? There's two choices. Whenever you feel that you are not enjoying what you are doing, you have no right. Why? Because you have these two choices and you can make it in an instant. Number one, accept your world, your reality, right? Accept the relationship that you're in. Accept what you have right now. Shift your model of the world to match that of the reality. Then you're thinking, but I don't want to do that. I've got higher goals. I've got higher... Okay, don't accept. The second thing, leave it. Leave your current context. Leave your current environment. Stop what you're doing right now. Stop what you're doing right now. You're thinking, but Eric, you don't understand. I need to pay the bills. That's what Jack said to me. Jack said, I've got a family. You know, how can I stop this business? I need to find another way before I can get out of this. I said to him, Jack, I said, if you're not enjoying it, stop. He said, Eric, I don't get it. I said, let me put it this way, Jack. I said, let's say you don't stop, right? For those of you who are in a job, or those of you who are in a business you don't enjoy, or in a relationship you don't enjoy. For those of you who don't stop, let me give you a scenario for you to think about a second. What happens if your partner stops the relationship? What happens if your boss fires you? What happens if your business collapses? What will happen? Give me that. Give me the situation. Think about that for a second. What will happen? What will be the outcome? Let me tell you one thing. I'm almost certain that you won't be living on the streets. I'm almost certain that you will still be paying the bills. What will happen when you stop? When you stop the current situation. You change the context dramatically. What happens? It opens up, it clears up the space. It clears up space for new things to enter in. That is when your cup isn't full. Right? This is very simple stuff. Every one of you can do this. But the thing is, there's a lot of restrictions. There's a lot of limiting beliefs that are going on. If you don't stop your circumstance will stop you. So why not you take charge? If you're not enjoying it, stop. Take yourself out of context. What happens? It opens up a whole new world to you, right? Think about this for a second. Why is comfort zone a really interesting thing? You need to break the comfort zone pattern. How am I going on Shark Tank? Why have I got followers all around the world? Why am I speaking all around the world? I was a college dropout at 19. I started my first business at 21, at 19, 20, 21. My dad said to me, what are you going to do with your life, Eric? You've got no qualifications. You can only run a restaurant. So I started in restaurant. How did I become a speaker, an international speaker, and a celebrity on TV now? How did I do that? Very simple. I just broke the pattern. I got out of my comfort zone. I did something that was scary, that was out of my comfort zone, out of my context. I stopped doing what I didn't enjoy, which was the restaurant business. But that was in fact my comfort zone, because let me tell you, my friends, my dad told me that that was all I could do at that time. And it wasn't until I broke that pattern, I said, no, okay, stop. That's how I managed to go onto a new path. If you're not enjoying it, just stop. Now, we're going on to the next thing, okay? Number one, calm the mind. Number two, set the intention. I'm just going to quickly finish off here because my battery's running out. I don't want it to cut out on me. I'll cut it out instead, okay? So guys, remember, give it a share, give it some likes, give me some comments, comment and give me some feedback and stuff like that. What you want to learn more, any questions and stuff like that. I'll cover the next thing tomorrow, okay? Tomorrow, same time tomorrow, I'm going to cover the rest of this. So how it works is, number one, calm the mind. Number two, set the intention. So you set the goal. Number three is trust. Setting the intention alone is not good enough, because if you don't trust in what you set. For example, some of you, I want to make $1 million. I'm going to make $1 million. I'm going to make $1 million. My question to you is this. Very simple. Very simple. Do you 100% believe in I'm going to make $1 million? Because for most people, let me tell you, deep down inside, there's fear. There's not really much trust. There's not much belief that will actually happen, because there's a lot of limiting beliefs. There's a lot of blockages that have been created through our upbringing, through society. And this is for most people. And so if every ounce of your body cannot really feel it, and it's not, let me tell you something, when you get to that stage where you 100% trust, it's not even believing and something may happen. It's a knowing that something will happen. When you can get yourself into that state of mind, into that frequency, it's a knowing. It's no longer a belief. And this is how I work my life forward these days. But the question is how to get that trust. I'll cover that tomorrow. How do you get that trust? How do you have that trust? Because with so many blockages and all this stuff, how do you have that trust, right? Then the final thing, once you have that trust, what do you need? Final thing is my favorite part, is how I live today, is being, is flow. Calm the mind, set the intention, trust with every cell, every ounce of your body, and flow. And just flow. The destination will call for you. All you do, you just flow with it. Now you're thinking, how do you flow? Things go wrong. Challenges happen. Tune in tomorrow And I'll share with you how I live my life every single day, how I just flow into results, how I just flow into goals. I always share with people today, I say, I work like 80% less than I used to work. And now my results just keep amplifying faster and faster and faster, all down to manifestation, understanding these 4 points inside out. I'll be sharing the rest with you tomorrow. Thank you so much for tuning in. Some of you will be thinking, this was a really weird topic. I don't believe in this stuff. Believe in one thing. Right? You cannot believe in manifestation. You cannot believe in positive thinking. You cannot believe in this type of woo-woo universe stuff. Believe in one thing. Right? Spirituality, all of this stuff, I don't believe is a religion. I don't believe is, whether you believe it or not, we are all here in the spirit. And understand one thing. You, me, everyone around us, everything around us, trees, grass, rivers, everything. Something so powerful, if something so powerful could create you, me, and everything around us, what are you thinking about? Why do you not trust that there is something out there? Some of you may call it the universe. Some of you may call it God. Some of you may call it Buddha. Some of you may even call it science. You may even call that creator the Big Bang. But let me ask you a question. Isn't the Big Bang still so phenomenal? Let me leave you with one thing as well. For those of you logical minds out there who cannot get their mind and awareness around this topic that I'm talking about today, understand one thing, okay? Is that most people, even the most logical people in this world, the most logical minded people, right? Scientists, doctors, okay? Base most of their decisions based on gut instinct. The most logical people who need to back up all the facts and need the statistics for everything before it's proven, base most of their relationship decisions, job decisions, career decisions, every decision based on their gut instinct. Next time you speak to a logical minded scientist or doctor, ask them, where does gut feeling come from? You know that feeling sometimes? You just enter into a room, you don't know why. You just want to speak, you feel connected to someone, you want to speak to that person. Where does that thought come from? There's something so great out there that's greater than you, me, and everyone. And you'll soon realize that it's all just a part of us. One thing I like to leave you with is this famous quote saying that we are not human beings having a spiritual experience right now. We are purely spiritual beings having a human experience. Good night. Thank you. Asante. Xie. See you all tomorrow. Give some love hearts. Give some likes. Give some comments. Give it a share. Share the love. Spread the love. Good night. Bye.